Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Calling All Devs, our weekly Q&A series where I take questions from you, the Star Citizen backer, and pose them directly to our Star Citizen developers, usually over Skype, and usually with full motion video. Not last week's Kabuki Fumetti feature notwithstanding. Joining us on the show this week, our first question comes out of Manchester, United Kingdom, and we are calling John Crewe, a lead technical designer out of that studio. Let's see if he picks up.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back once again.
Once again
to Calling All Devs. You were lucky. Last week, your segment worked. We had 2 questions where the video corrupted during the recording process, and we had to do a slideshow Fumetti comic for the thing. Anyway, I thought it was kind of fun, but ultimately it's a video, so we're going to do video, so hopefully this video works. All right, John, okay. I've got 2 questions for you from the community. Topics that haven't had a lot of conversation about it, which is nice. You know, you always get that mix of things that people have been asking for months and months and months and months, and then sometimes you get stuff voted up. It's like, oh, that's an interesting one. I don't think we've ever talked about that. Your first question is one of those questions that I don't think we've talked about. It says, can ships docked inside a capital ship perform their function without taking off? And the examples they give are drone control, scanning, shooting at enemies through the open landing bay door, etc. etc., etc.
So, yes, depending on what exactly it does. I'm not going to say yes to everything, but for the examples there, controlling drones, there's nothing that's going to stop you there. Mm-hmm. Shooting out the door, nothing going to stop you there. In the instance of, say, a scanning ship that is docked inside a capital ship, that's probably not going to work as well as it would if it was out in open space, because naturally it's inside a great big hulking lump of metal. Mm-hmm. So, yes, within reason.
All right. I mean, I imagine even if it does work during the first implementation, the early implementation, that does seem like something in a diegetic universe you'd want to impair somehow. Yeah,
you don't want to have say 50 terrapins inside a Bengal Hulk being pushed around. Is this some sort of Uber scanning station?
Well, you don't want. I'm sure somebody out there wants. But
the people on the receiving end probably don't want that.
Probably a giant scanning Bengal full of terrapins. All right, that's a terrible, terrible Russian nesting doll of scanners. All right, your next question says
2 questions.
Yeah, 2 questions. My friend, when we get you, we get you. I'm an ass. Are there plans for landing aid systems? Examples like radio altimeters to display a real distance between my ship and the surface that people want to land on, or even external cameras on the MFDs.
So for the people that remember pre 3.0, we actually had on the 3D radar, when you went into landing mode, you had sort of an assisted landing. That's something we're going to be looking to bring back. It was simply when the conversion to Item 2.0 happened and all the cockpits got changed from their old UI system to render to texture. That was just something that just didn't fit on the schedule at the time. So that's hopefully going to come back. External cameras, it's interesting. The graphics guys are sort of always pointing a gun to our head over render to texture on screens, saying, please don't do stuff like this. So I don't want to do anything down that lines. But it is an often talked about point.
When you say please don't do something like that, you mean like unnecessarily or frivolously?
Yeah, don't have 16 cameras doing render to texture in a cockpit all pointing different ways.
Yes, obviously everything has a performance cost, and if the choice is one more camera or getting another player in your close field, we're always going to choose to have another player, of course.
Yeah.
All right, man. I think that's it. You did good.
Cool.
2 questions. Bada bing, bada boom. I'll let you get back to work, man.
All right then. See ya.
All right, later, man. All right. Thank you so much to John Crewe. Up next, we're coming back here to I forgot what city we live in. Los Angeles, and our own Mark Abent, senior gameplay super dude. Mark, how you doing, man?
Hello. How's it going, Jared?
Good. Thank you for taking the time to be on the show here.
Sure.
I got a question for you.
Oh, no. No.
I'm a little curious about it. I think this person might be trying to sitcom us. The location markers on planets do not display in a different color, orange, when they are on the other side of the planet. What are the technical challenges preventing this? Are they supposed to appear in orange, or is this person just...
Not to my knowledge, you're not supposed to be changing a different color, but
Okay.
we do have a fun issue of where when you get into the planet, we tend to show everything.
Uh-huh.
And that's just an unfortunate side effect. We do have some plans to alleviate that with some sort of hierarchy of what should be shown when and where. Can't get too much into detail on that because the design is still getting fleshed out on that. But I know I saw on, I think it was on Reddit, they're talking about some kind of planetary grid to show different points, and it's kind of a similar thing, but as we get closer, we'll show you more of what that is. As for what the color is, yeah, I think the community is trying to add a little, I guess as you call it, sitcom us, but that's a nifty idea.
Backdoor suggestion.
Backdoors.
Yeah, it's. I think it's very safe to say we're aware. We're aware that when you approach a planet or when you're in the vicinity of a planet, that all the points are showing up, and it's very difficult to tell which ones are actually on the side that you're facing, which ones are on the other side. We're aware of that. I've talked to a couple people, not just you. We do have a couple ideas that we're pursuing. Basically, it's like an American Gladiators thing. We throw up a couple ideas into the pot, and they all fight each other, and the one that we think will work best is the one that we pursue. You will hear more about this almost certainly in an ATB segment, either in a project update or a studio update segment on ATB when we have more. But we are aware of it. We have plans to work on it. We are pursuing a solution. It's just not specifically turning them orange.
It's yes, and to address the idea that we show too much.
Yeah. Although we say this now, and 6 months from now they're going to end up being turned orange, and we're going to be like, well.
Well, if they do turn orange, we could be like, hey, that was a good idea.
Good job, person.
Good job, person.
All right. Thank you so much, Mark. I'll let you get back to work.
Sure. Thanks.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Now we are going on the opposite side of Mark's desk. Basically, if you're standing at Mark's desk and you looked over the other side, you'd see Chad McKinney, lead gameplay engineer here in our Los Angeles studio. Chad, how you doing, man?
Hey, Jared. Doing well?
I know. Thank you for being on the show. I know you got some scratchy going on.
A little bit of a cold. It's not too bad though.
Yeah. All right. So your question, popular one. This is the most voted on question for all of April so far. Sprung up really fast, well over 300 votes. What's happening with persistence? Ships and cargo are lost upon crashes and disconnections. Weren't ships supposed to persist since 3.0? Is the absence of persistence considered a bug, or is persistence an upcoming feature?
I would say there's a couple things there. Persistence is a really broad thing, and so persistence has been in the game for some time, and with 3.0 and 3.1 we've greatly increased the amount of features that are persistent. Ship persistence is something that is also greatly increasing its persistence, but I think here this question is really getting at persistence kind of mid-flight. And so what we've been working on is something called a client crash recovery system to try to address the problems that happen when you've crashed or suddenly disconnected mid-travel. So usually we have some kind of persistent saving that happens at key points during gameplay. So that'll be, for instance, whenever you land somewhere or sell cargo or claim insurance, things like that. But if you're just flying, previously we weren't really tracking the ship accurately. But with this new system, we're going to be doing that better. At the moment, the latest changes to that are in PTU testing right now and should be out in the 3.1.2 patch. And so hopefully that should help address a lot of these concerns.
Right. This was we've spoken a little bit of this. This also relates to the insurance expediting fee.
Sure.
These two things, one and one, were supposed to work together, and it got pushed from the 3.1 build. Unfortunately, didn't make the cut in time, but and that caused a number of issues. I don't think we have to tell the community, but it is in 3.1.2. It is in testing right now on the PTU. So hopefully that will be out into everybody's hands. Maybe even by the time you see this episode.
Sure. Yeah.
So I mean,
and again with everything, this is a hard problem. So maybe it doesn't work 100% on this time or not, but it does the changes that we've made most recently to try to address this issue will be going in. So.
Gotcha. Cool. And like I said, if it's not 100% with 3.12, we'll continue to iterate on it. We'll continue to work on it after that.
Exactly.
So. All right, man. That's it. I'll let you get back to work. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right. Bye.
See you.
All right, and for our last question of the show, this is one actually for me, being the ship guy here in the office at the moment. The 600i and the Phoenix are on the roadmap for this year, but we have not heard of the rovers that are supposed to come with these ships. Are these rovers developed at the same time the ships are, or are they a completely separate pipeline? Well, they're not a separate pipeline. All ships and vehicles go through the same pipeline, but they are indeed separate vehicles. When we provide opportunities to pledge for these ships through a promotion program, you can pledge for the Phoenix and the Lynx. You can pledge for the Carrack and the Pisces. You can pledge for the Andromeda and the Merlin. But as far as our development, they are separate ships. Just like when you go to the ASOP terminal, you can spawn them as separate items. So they are developed separately. They are not developed one and the same. You'll know that the Merlin was developed separately from the Andromeda, is your best example if you've been following the project for a while. So when the time comes, the rover will be developed, the Origin rover, what was the other one they mentioned? I think they mentioned the Lynx rover and stuff. They are developed separately. So they are not currently on the roadmap right now because they are not currently slated to be developed within 2018. But rest assured, just like the Merlin before it, and just like the Archimedes and the Pisces and the Lynx and everything else to come after it, they will be developed just the same as any other ship. It's just a matter of resources and schedules and priorities and all that jazz. So that's it. And with that, we wrap up this week's Calling All Devs. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember that you can submit your questions for consideration each and every week up on the thread, up on Spectrum, and don't forget to vote. That's the two-pronged thing. You got to submit your questions and you got to vote for the questions. That way we know which ones you want to see answered most each and every week. So for Calling All Devs, I'm content manager for global video production, Jared Huckabee. I apologize for hitting the table and bouncing the camera just now. I'll see you next week, everybody.
Thanks for watching. For the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42, you can subscribe to our channel, or you can check out some of the other shows, and you can also head to our website at www.robertspaceindustries.com. Thank you very much for watching.